That's my Johnny Depp doll behind me. You know I'm into pirates, right? Well, my Johnny Depp doll's better than yours because he talks when I walk into the room. That's right. He says special messages to me about being a pirate when I walk by. He's motion activated. I do have everything. Anyways, getting back to backings, we've learned that we don't want to use a sheet when it comes to hand quilting. Possibly for machine quilting, but not hand quilting because of the thread count being way too high. There are a couple other fabrics that you want to stay away from for the backing. Not for the top. I mean, design wins over everything, but when you are doing a whole backing out of a certain kind of fabric, you could be setting yourself up for just a painful journey. One type of fabric are batiks. I love batiks. I adore batiks. But one time I put a batik on the back of my hand quilted quilt, and honestly I never finished it. It's just woven too tightly. I don't know what the exact deal is, but you don't want it for a back. The other one that you want to stay away from are the white on whites. I know you can't see it, but you know that in your quilt shop they've got a ton of these fabrics. It's literally a paint that's put on top of another fabric, and that's horrible to hand quilt through too. So when you go to choose the fabric that you're going to put on your backing, I would really strongly recommend that you take a needle and test it out. I call it needling the fabric. So I mean, all fabrics have their place in life. It's simply understanding where. When it's time to create a backing for my quilt, I'll often go into my stash and use stuff that I wonder why I ever purchased in the first place. I know you've got that. And also, when I do backings, I have no problem piecing multiple fabrics together, not just using one. For instance, this on the ironing board is the backing of an airplane quilt that I did. I think the backing's as much fun as the front of the quilt itself. But one thing to keep in mind when you're piecing your backings together is to press the seams open. Yes, I do, because I don't want to sew under a big lump of a seam pressed to one direction. And the other thing is, if you have a quilt top that's primarily white, make sure you use a really light backing, because especially if you're using a polyester bat, it will show through. Been there, done that, learned the hard way.